So this is your workspace, and this is mine. Health and safety sounds dull, doesn't it? But it's crucial in both situations. If you don't want to get hurt, you have to know what you're doing. That's why we made this video, to make sure you get home safe. You matter. Your welfare, our strength. If you have any questions while on this project, speak to your supervisor or a McLaughlin and Harvey site manager. Make sure nobody is injured as a result of your actions. Don't leave it to someone else to do something. Speak up. If you feel you're at risk, stop work and tell us.
Risk assessments and method statements. Your green light.
A risk assessment identifies the chance of harm to you or your workmates. You make hundreds of risk assessments every day without even knowing it. When you cross the street, drive a car, or play a sport. You need to have a clear understanding of the risks involved in your work. Before you start work on this site, you must know your company's risk assessment findings and safe methods of working for you. If you're unsure or in doubt about your work in any way, do not start. Speak to your supervisor. PPE, protect yourself. On this site, you must wear your personal protective equipment, PPE, at all times. Safety helmet, high visibility clothing, safety footwear, gloves. Wear the right gloves for the job. Other items of PPE may be needed. Respiratory protection, eye protection, and hearing protection. Your risk assessments and method statement will tell you what PPE you require. Replace all damaged PPE immediately. Welfare facilities, looking after you. Welfare facilities are here for your comfort. If you notice any damage to these facilities, tell us immediately. I know it's common sense, but wash your hands after and before eating, drinking, smoking and using the toilet. Eat only in the canteen. Remember, rats love our waste, so put all rubbish in the bins.
And don't forget, smoking is only permitted at designated areas.
Drugs and alcohol, have sense. Don't come to work if you're under the influence of illegal drugs or alcohol. You'll be a danger to yourself and others. You may be subject to random drug and alcohol tests on this site. If you're taking prescribed medication with known side effects that could affect your ability to work safely, speak to the site management team before you start. Working at height, any fall can kill. Falls from height are the industry's biggest killer on site. Any fall from height can kill, no matter how short the distance. Use ladders for access only and not as working platforms. Are step ladders approved? Check with your site manager. Always check the condition of ladders and steps before using them and report any damage immediately. Only trained operatives may erect or alter traditional aluminium tower scaffolds. When a mobile tower is in use, make sure the brakes are on and all toe boards and handrails are in place. Only qualified scaffolders may erect, modify or dismantle scaffolds. Do not alter or remove any scaffold parts.
Operates in 4 lasers, I think it is.
Right,
roughly, I think that's it.
I'll be over in 2 seconds.
Right.
Caleb! Hello? Hello?
What if you are responsible? Scaffolds will be inspected by a competent person on a weekly basis or following adverse weather conditions. Never lean over scaffolds or use rails as a step up. If materials are loaded on the scaffold, make sure they're stacked below the toe board height or that brick guards are used, and check that the scaffold can take the load. Signs will highlight incomplete or unsafe scaffolding. Personal fall protection equipment must be a last resort. Harnesses and accessories must be worn where there is a risk of falling from areas where fall prevention measures cannot be used. Take the time to check that you have in-date safety harness training. You inspect your harness on a daily basis before use. There is an emergency rescue plan in place. The correct attachments are being used, and you have a suitable anchorage point. Speak to your supervisor if you need more information. Temporary works, what are they? Temporary works take many forms. You need to know what they are. Scaffolding, signage, mesh fencing, timber hoarding. Unless authorised, don't change them. If you are allowed to change them, be safe. Use the instructions. Ask yourself, am I approved to change this?
When temporary works go wrong, they can go wrong big time.
Temporary offices. Shuttering. Formwork. Propping systems. Crane bases.
Crane mats,
Internal partitions.
temporary screening,
Sheet piling. Temporary roads.
piling frames,
Lifting operations. Are you approved? Plant and equipment used for lifting operations must have a current thorough examination certificate. A McLaughlin and Harvey lifting plan is required for lifts involving mobile cranes, tower cranes, lifting of persons and equipment other than NUPES, and any other complex lifts. This must be prepared by an appointed person before any lifting commences.
Only qualified slingers signallers are allowed to direct loads being lifted.
Excavations, permit, plan, protect. Before excavation works take place, service drawings must be checked and the area CAT scanned. If you come across any services during such works, assume them to be live until proven to be dead. Only use designated entry and exit points. Check all excavations, openings and manholes are guarded to prevent people and plant falling into them. Housekeeping, slips, trips and falls. Untidiness kills. Slips, trips and falls continue to be the biggest contributor to accidents on construction sites. Keep your working areas clean and tidy. Help us reduce accidents. Clean and tidy as you go. Please put all waste in the right skips. This is part of our site waste management plan. All trailing power leads should be suspended above head height or kept against walls to reduce tripping hazards. Care around plant trained, maintained and safely operated. Only operate plant if you're trained and qualified to do so. If you are responsible for looking after plant, ensure that daily checks are carried out before use and any damage is reported immediately. Dumper drivers, dismount the machine when it's being loaded and wear your lap belt when driving. You're not allowed to use mobile phones when operating plant or equipment. At other times, only when it's safe to do so. What if it's your last call? Manual handling, there is an alternative. A large number of injuries are caused by poor manual handling. Always consider mechanical methods of moving loads before resorting to manual handling. A back injury can disable you permanently. Think before you lift. Tested, safe and clear. Portable electrical tools. Only use 110 volt portable electrical power tools on site.
Get authorization before using higher voltages.
All power tools must be in good working order and have been pat tested every 3 months. Avoid damage to cables by protecting them from sharp edges and objects. Check for any wear, tear and damage. Don't carry out any repairs yourself. Report the damage to your supervisor. Damaged electrical equipment can electrocute you or be the cause of fires. In an emergency, act fast, leave safe. When the emergency alarm is raised, stop work and quickly but safely make your way to the assembly point. Fire extinguishers are located at various fire points around the site and in accommodation units, but they should only be used by those trained to do so. Murphy's Law, think differently and it won't happen. Don't leave it to chance. It might appear that something doesn't matter. Report all near misses. Help prevent them becoming more serious. Near misses. Report them. Stop the accident. Be aware of the location of the first aid station and who the first aiders are.
Asbestos and silica. Don't expose yourself.
Past exposure to asbestos still results in the death of thousands of people in the UK every year. Help put an end to this. If you think you've identified asbestos, stop work and report it immediately.
Exposure to silica dust is possible during concrete scabbling, cutting or drilling, during demolition processes or other stonework. Breathing in silica dust can lead to silicosis or lung cancer, both of which can be fatal. Always limit your exposure to such dusts. Use dust suppressing equipment and wear the correct respiratory protective equipment if exposure cannot be avoided. Hazardous substances. Take precautions.
You may have to work with substances which could be dangerous to your health if not used correctly. You can identify these hazardous substances by the orange warning label on the packaging. Always follow the instructions in the substance assessment.
Hazardous substances should be securely sealed and stored in appropriate purpose-made cabinets or cupboards.
Only trained operatives should refuel plant. Never refuel close to watercourses, manholes or drains. And always remember, do not smoke near any flammable material or substance.
Gas cylinders and highly flammable liquids
Must be stored in designated secure vented cages with warning notices. All bottles need to be stored in the upright position. Good to go. Accidents don't have to happen. If you feel any of your health and safety concerns have not been adequately addressed by the site team, please tell us by leaving a message on the confidential health and safety phone line number. Thank you for your time and attention. Please take what you've just learnt out onto site and work safely at all times. Remember, if you've any concerns regarding health and safety, please bring these to the attention of our site team. Help us to help you stay healthy and safe. Thank you.
Right, lads, I'll see you later.
You matter. Stay safe. We've created a website for you with helpful information and contact numbers that directly relate to your welfare. www.youmatter.co